Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nobody goes to McDonald's more than you. Nobody.
No,
every meal, every thought. I mean, every meal.
Every morning you're there.
Every morning goes to McDonald's every day.
I do it. Oh, I go every day.
Is it?
Yeah,
How many
that's
times?
what I mean. That's a lot.
How many?
I mean, sometimes
I'm saying in the next year I go 9 times. I
That's
go
high
9.
for me. I'm not going 9
Oh,
times
I mean,
to
7
McDonald's.
times
Yeah.
a week. 7 times a week.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
Every
times
day.
though, but you go more than once a day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm telling you. So it's
But I just
500.
get coffee.
But you go 500 times a year. That's a lot. of times a year. The most I'm at is 9. I'm at 9. Jake's at 4, and you're at 500.
I say 4 to 5 for myself.
So I said 9. You said
Put
500.
it that way.
It is. Just do the math.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We are in the building, 1040 O Street. On a decent day, no wind. You know, when you're in the spring in Nebraska, you get anything above 45 and no wind. That's a automatic top 6 to 10 day, 6 out of 10 day. And depending on the temperature, you can keep going up. But we are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 168th and Maple up there in the Metro. Plenty of stuff going on. Obviously, if you listened in early at 10 a.m., had a visit from Coach Matt Rule and some of his staff to come in and obviously talk about himself, and then obviously had Sean Patton in here talking about his role as a GM. You know what I said I think a couple days ago, Austin, was the coaches, coordinators, and obviously even the players. They're obviously the coaches are already well compensated. Players are through NIL are compensated in some form or fashion. But I think as college football starts to evolve, and we talked about this when they came up with this, Super League potential, the conferences and stuff, I feel people like Sean in the GM roles, schedule makers, people that are in the structure part of your program and running the whole thing will be the next kind of, I wouldn't say it job, but the position that really, really is magnified and compensated and all that stuff, because the way college football is going right now, you got to manage roster, you got to manage your coaching roster, you got to manage your assistant roster. I think eventually they're going to have pretty much unlimited, or potentially you can have as many on the field coaches, which is probably more analysts and stuff like that. You got to manage recruiting. You got to manage NIL. You got to manage the portal situations whenever they come up. And then the ever-changing rules on all the things I mentioned before. All the while, who knows if you're going to have to be a salary cap manager, or you're going to have to hire somebody in that role, but you're going to be involved anyways. So it takes a different type of mindset because you almost have to run the team from a outside looking in, but you're extremely invested in order to make the right decisions. And so we talked about, I've talked about, if I was a team like Nebraska or organization that's with NIL, or if I was a collective, I'm having a panel of former players at each position, giving their opinion based on what we see. And the reason why is as you start to get deeper into this NIL, and say like, okay, let's look at Ohio State. I think they quote unquote supposedly spent 13 million. Let's just say they did 10, because the numbers are always, who knows, they might have did 13. Well, let's do 10. But if you're a school and say you're at 5 to 7, how do you bridge that gap, right? You say you're just not able to raise the 3 million in between, or the 5 million in between. Well, what you have to do is be more efficient and get a higher rate of return on your investment. How do you do that? Now, just playing by the rules. Now, the coaches aren't supposed to be involved, but obviously, I'm sure they say, hey, Austin or Jay Foreman is a good player, whatever. But if you could curtail the deals based on a numerous amount of factors, say it's a linebacker. You ask me, okay, what do you think about him? Who do you envision him as on our team in year 2, year 4? Based on that, initial thoughts. Is he, the real deal? Is he worthy? Or, is he worthy of what X amount of dollars, or whatever the situation is? And then you try to come up with some formula based on the contract. And then you can have maybe 2 or 3 options for the kid and the family. And then that way you would ideally, the thought process, or my thought process, is that you get more bang for your buck. So then therefore, if you're getting more bang for your buck, you're not having a lot of the, well, we were, for prior staff, a little bit desperate. We overpaid for him. We definitely didn't get our return on investment. Where is he? You kind of can base it as, okay, how long are you going to be here? Just for 1 season, or 2 seasons, or 3 seasons? And if the things change, you can kind of make sure that if a team kind of quote unquote trade for him, get some money back. There's all things you could do it. So this position that you saw with Sean Patton, I think it's going to be something that's going to be huge. Well, in my opinion, huge moving forward.
Anecdotally, we've seen a lot more of that in college basketball than college football. I think it's still trying to reach the college football ranks.
Sure.
But a lot of the blue blood basketball programs jumped on board with this pretty early.
Yes.
Having a general manager. And this is where I think basketball staffs are obviously smaller than football staffs.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see just how many people fall under the GM. I mean, think about in the NFL, how many assistant GMs you have, or assistants, or analysts, or whatever, like, even just in the front office. So I'm going to be curious to see if that trend reaches college, because I think the GM is going to be just another member of like the head coach's kind of executive team, such as it is. You have your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your football ops. Because I think football ops has to work with, but be separate from GM.
Yeah. You got to have, football ops, division, GM division. And the thing is, what you have to do is you got to make sure that you got to have some people that know the game in those divisions, because operation. Here's why I think Pittsburgh, or say when Carolina, when Jerry Richardson was there as the owner, in Pittsburgh as well. In particular, let's take Pittsburgh. Why they've been sustainable and been such a grade A organization all the time is they have a lot of former players in different roles through those different, like, let's call them pillars. And so when they're making decisions, they're making them football decisions. Where you see a lot of NFL owners, in my opinion, struggle is that, say you are a billionaire from tech. Well, you're trying to come in and run a football team like a tech company. It never works. Unless you're a really good delegator as a billionaire or owner of an NFL team. And so that's no different than potentially what could be going on in the near future for college football and football programs. So big shout out to them coming over. I didn't know they were coming over, didn't get the invite, you know what I'm saying? They got left on read, but that's all good. But I had to take care of some other stuff. But it's always good. I think, one thing, I don't talk much about the football team, just in general, just because that's just, I think that's, first of all, it's not my personality. I like watching the games. That's when I'll talk about the game. The one difference, I was talking to somebody, what people don't know, I think I have to confirm this, but I think it, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think Matt Rule and Scott are the same age. Text line, let me. I think they're the same age, and this has nothing to do with a record. But I think they're the same age. But when you talk to them, Matt Rule seems like
correct.
Yeah, seems like he's a little bit more older and mature, and he's a football coach. I mean, I always say this when you walk, when a few times that I've been down there, or when you see them operate, you have to be a former football player, no different strict former basketball player. It smells and feels like football. They're doing it. And that's the best compliment I can give to you, because that covers everything. You're doing football. You're playing it. You're coaching it. You're adjusting it. You're demanding it. You're doing everything that goes into this thing that we call like football practice, football team, and it's ever changing.
Are you telling me it's easier to get better at football when you do football?
Yeah. That's anything.
Interesting.
Right?
Seems like that makes sense to me. Do more football, get better at more
I don't
football.
know any different. I don't know. I mean, I guess that I don't think like that, I mean, obviously I've had some issues, or the brain sometimes don't function, but I just think that, it just, to me, I always try to keep it the best times I've ever played football, or me performed well, teams perform well. It's like, hey, look, it's all the things that we have to do. This is what you're asked to do. Go above and beyond. Generally, good things happen for you. Are you going to win a national championship every year? No, but you're going to be in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about on the crossover strict the difference between, say like, and you say basketball, like, yeah, you can win, you can be a winner, quote unquote, but you'll never be, difference between a winner and a champion, and people struggle with that because. And that's with coaches as well. You can be a winner. I can be a winning AAU coach if I have all the best players, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can win some stuff because, say, like you're playing against or coaching against a bunch of coaches that really don't know what they're doing, right? Or you're playing down. We see a lot of teams that should be like gold level. They'll be down there blowing bronze out, and then they're on the internet. Well, that's great and all, but that's short term. Because you can do that because you can have guys get away with, not being invested, having bad attitudes, doing just enough, and finding a way to kind of like, I would say, like curtail the system. Like find a way, kind of like it seems like you're doing it right, but you're just kind of
to the outside. It'll appear like you're doing it.
It looks at it on
will know.
You're cutting corners and all that, but you're still like quote unquote winning.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never be a champion, because in a champion, it's a different mindset, because you're showing up with like individual like energy, but with team goals, team mindset, and there is no complaining. And that's a kind of a blanket statement that's not necessarily fair, because I'll tell you this, to be honest, when Coach Osborne on a Wednesday after a hard practice that we did goal line and stuff, and we got 3 full gassers, I was complaining. You know what I'm saying? But guess what you got to do when you complain? You still got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it goes, hand in hand, and I'm sure they're trying to do that, build the championship mentality. Whereas the days that you don't feel like it, those are the days you actually got to push harder. Everybody can perform when you feel good or when things are going right. What are you going to do when you have a bad, like section of practice? So for instance, sometimes like I talk about Greg Williams, like hey man, I just got destroyed in red zone, busted coverage, got juked. You know what I mean? That's a bad segment of practice. Now, am I going to let that ball over to inside, outside run? Am I going to still think about something that I did 5-10 plays ago, or something like that? You can't. And so you got to be able to build those type of habits right now, and see where guys can, see where it all shakes out.
That's really what it comes down to, is when you strap it up, what you've been doing. Where's your focus been? What work have you invested? I mean, that's where it becomes obvious, right? This last week of spring, because guess what, Jay? There's a spring game in a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, the spring game.
Now that it means everything, but this is where we see our first peek at, okay, when the lights come on, it's not just when the lights come on who can perform, it's who's put in that work, who's been dedicated, who's had their head screwed on straight. Now you're putting on a show for people across the state.
Yeah.
This is going to influence how we think, how we talk about the team moving forward, and your coaches are going to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've seen them all spring. They've seen them through the winter conditioning. I think that, I mean, obviously the spring game now is televised. It can't be like when we did it, it's where it was actually a true game where there's things they can get accomplished, right? You anytime that you're out there, and I'm assuming there's going to be a scrimmage, you want the penalties low, you want the execution high. You could run 5 plays, you want them executed. Now you could dress them up different ways, but you want to be able to, what I like to call walk and chew gum, and you want to see the guys that can do it. Now, from the fan perspective, you'll see, well, I saw him last year. Man, he looks bigger, faster, stronger. He looks really good, and say, makes a couple plays. That's something to talk about, because then you're saying, okay, well, I see the team's getting, better, in the weight room and all this, and it's showing on the field. There's a lot of things you can gain out of it. But for a player, no matter what the script is, you want to make sure, at least for me, I can only talk for myself, is that I wanted to have a good feeling going into the offseason or into the next phase, which is extremely crucial. This is extremely big, but now we're getting ready for real games. And so I want my last memory of playing football, obviously having a great spring, but the last game out there, which is a kind of a preseason tune-up, you want it to have to be good.
Well, we talk so much about good first impressions, which makes sense, right? And that's the first week of spring ball. Like, you're excited to get pads back on or hit people or get through drills, right? So yes, a good first impression matters. Just as important is a good impression in the middle. Who's tired? Who's still pushing through? Who's remembered install from week 1? And then a good last impression. Who's put it all together? Who started strong? Who remembered everything? And then, hey, we got into scrimmage action. Who had their best week of putting everything together at the end? Right? There's no week to take off.
Well, first of all, we're 5-7. There's no days off.
Right.
It's 365, 24/7, 24/7, 365. There's no days off. We can't afford anything. So let's just get that out of the way. But like, you're completely correct. You want to see who can retain some stuff, execute some stuff, and be totally invested. Like I said, the first week and a half, 2 weeks, everybody's excited. That middle part is like, you can see the finish line. But boy, you got the back end of that last 150 meters in that 400, and it's you got to be
about to hit you.
Right, and you got that hawk coming. You got to fight through it, and you're gonna see who's tough and who's not, and mentally tough players are ones you like to depend on, and that's where you get confidence from as a coach. So it's a great. I mean, like I said, if I was on the team, I'd be excited, because it's a way. You have an opportunity to play the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't afforded that. So anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back. I'm going to give you a great analogy of spring, and then we're going to put a pin in that. And then we're going to talk about college basketball transfer portal. Oh man, Chucky's in the portal with his buddies. All the Bellevue West guys are in there. Give my opinion on that. I don't have any inside knowledge, but obviously wish them the best. But we're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Keep summer green with Judson Bailene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation, 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosden. Education is a cornerstone to building a strong, vibrant community. I voted for the historic increase in funding for education in the legislature. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local business owners and understand the valuable role of education in our community. This is Carolyn Bosden, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th, paid for by Bosden for Legislature.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, April 20th versus the San Diego Mojo at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, old school. A little spring ball talk. The one thing an analogy I got for spring ball is you ever see those things like when you're in the like airport or the mall, they're like, you know, they'll make like a glass like swan or something like that, or any type of like glass object, you know, even like a Jolly Rancher is forged in heat, extreme heat, so it hardens.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it too much, it'll break. That's spring ball. You want to turn up the heat enough to see who can harden, and then you don't want to turn up so much that they break. And some guys, if they're mentally weak, will break before they get hard. Pause. But it's strict, yeah, right? But some guys,
He's rubbing off on you. Pause.
Right. Yeah, some guys will break before they reach to where they need to be. So if you get enough guys that are, tough-minded, willing to work through some stuff in for the betterment of the team, generally you come out of spring as a better team. So we got one question here from the text line. Old Dad 34. Jay, in your opinion, how can we see improvement in our quarterback play if they aren't allowed to go live? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but drilling a quarterback doesn't. What are you going to do? You're not going to really separate yourself. Look, when they're throwing in team drills, 11 on 11, even, when they're doing like 7 on 7 or whatever, like one-on-ones, you'll see who's better, and you'll see, the improvement, you'll see the depth, you'll see guys get better. And so that's where everything is being evaluated. What you do in the classroom, what you're doing in the locker room, what you're doing in the weight room, what you're doing at the nutrition table, what you're doing on the field, what you're doing when you're not out there on the field. Are you actively, taking mental reps? All that stuff goes into the evaluation. So you can see improvement by what they do on a day-to-day basis.
And that's for the coaches to see more so than people who are going to be watching the spring game. But I think, let's say for the fans that are watching the spring game, you can tell how the ball comes out of a quarterback's hand.
Sure.
You can tell how confident they look if they're ripping it or they're trying to touch it in there. You can tell a little bit of decision making. Obviously, you don't have the end zone view, you don't have the all 22, but you can get a sense for decision making. Did he make the right read? Did he take the check down? Did he force it into this window?
Yeah.
The checks at the line of scrimmage, if there are any, the RPO calls, some of that we won't know. We won't be able to see, but it should be pretty obvious if you've watched any football. You can tell how a guy's throwing it. You can tell how confident he is in his motion, in the velocity. You can tell by how the receivers catch it or drop it. If it was a touch pass, if they're supposed to be, there's plenty you can tell even just watching the spring game.
You can see a lot. And it's funny you say that, Austin. I was bored because there wasn't any NBA on last night. And so they had the Indiana Hoosiers spring game on there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they got, Siggs or Signetti, their coach, they call him Siggs and Signetti. It's his first spring. But they were, kept stats and all this other stuff. Well, last year they had a quarterback in Taven Jackson that kind of burst on the scene, more of a runner, brought spark to that Indiana offense that was inept at times. And the one thing that you said when you talk about improvement, right from the get-go, when I saw him in the first drive, he went 7 to 7, like 79 yards, touchdown or whatever. And he threw for I think well over 200 yards in the spring game and played well. Was the improvement in his arm action, in his fundamentals, the velocity on the ball, the accuracy on the ball, the trajectory, being able to fit it in small windows, both of their quarterbacks. And so when you ask it, how do you see it? You'll see it from one year to the next. Now, you won't maybe see it in the short snapshot in the spring game, but the coaches have seen it probably from the first. I'm sure they do have some sort of, we used to call it passing league, right? When we get together, I'm sure they have some sort of evaluation process from the very start to, as it's ongoing, not only in the quarterback room, but every position.
And as a, just point of reference, I think it's going to be easiest for fans to judge Heinrich Harburg more so than Dylan Raiola or Daniel Kalen.
Sure.
You can only learn, so much from poring over those guys' huddle highlights for freshmen.
Yeah, nobody puts up their bad plays.
They don't.
Yeah.
But we've also, again, we've talked kind of ad nauseum about what Heinrich Harburg needs to improve on.
Sure.
This is his first, full offseason as a quarterback, right? I'm willing to give him that. Or maybe second full, depending on
last year. Yeah, I think this is his first one after playing too.
Right. First one after playing. So now he knows what he is.
Yeah.
But he knows what he can be and what he needs to do to get there. So for me, even if all the intrigue is around, hey, what's Dylan Raiola's arm look like?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's the local kid doing? Does he have a shot? Or the Omaha kid, I guess.
Yeah.
What's Heinrich Harburg got? Well, what has he been working on? How cleaned up are his mechanics? What's his motion look like? How's the decision making? He's the guy I think we'll be able to judge a little more accurately from the spring game.
Yeah, you can, but just because he, to be honest with you, he's the only one we have any, evidence of what he, where he was last year, and if he made some improvement during the season. And now you're going to see him, come out, and you could really look at last year's spring game versus this one. Has he just gotten better, period? Don't even worry about if they brought in a quarterback coach.
Mm-hmm.
Just has he gotten better from last year to this year, just based on the spring game from last year to this year. That's great. And it can, increase the confidence in, him as a player, because he really went and took some, I wouldn't call it criticism, just, coaching, and constructive criticism. I would say that.
And then guess what? You're the starting quarterback at Nebraska. You're going to get some.
Yeah, all the time, even when you play good. So, that's a great, he'd be a great measuring stick. But then, as far as, the young guys go, the coaches see him and they've watched more tape than their huddle tape, as far as, their evaluation through high school. So they kind of knew what they'd like to see from him, based on their initial evaluation. Maybe they're surprised by how good these young quarterbacks are, their ability to, pick up the, play calls, pick up the, the line changes and play, get them in and out of plays, and learn the checks, command the offense. I think, both these young men, have probably handled themselves, in a great fashion. And need to probably be ongoing competition. I don't know, how they decide that stuff. So, but I think it's a good situation, because I think you have a quarterback, that's nobody's afraid of competition. Heinrich Harburg didn't, pack up his bags and leave when he had two quarterbacks coming in, regardless of when, Dylan Raiola committed. And, he's got to go out there and show how good he is. I mean, this is it. This is it's not this is it, but this is a great opportunity to show everybody what type of competitor you are.
That part, competitor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope there's nobody questioning the type of competitor.
I don't think they are.
Better not be. The kid competed his butt off.
Right,
we could tell he had a lot to work on, but I think, to your point too, that we've talked so much about why guys jump in the transfer portal. Maybe Heinrich Harburg has more aspirations, but whether or not he's the best quarterback at Nebraska, he can be a good voice and a good leader in that room, whether he's starting or he's the backup. He can be an insurance policy. And here's the thing. He's local. That means something. Hopefully he wants to stick around. He has that year of starting experience. So then if you can tie those things together, whether it is as a bridge guy or the backup, do what you can to keep him on the roster. There is a place for Heinrich Harburg in Lincoln.
Yeah, look, good football players are hard to come by.
Yeah.
And, as long as he shows that he's a good football player, I'm sure they'll find a place for him, whether it's at quarterback or potentially, multiple things that he could do. If you want to play, I think the biggest thing like this is that competition is everywhere, right? And, like I said, I mean, I'm, completely honest about, when I was after we won the Fiesta Bowl, I was thinking about leaving, and, you're playing, I'm starting, you're switching positions. Do you want to, sit out a year? Or do you want to play football? Essentially, I did. I mean, I would have had to go and sit a year at Michigan, roll the dice without playing, and then play. And the next thing you know, I actually fell in love with the position, then end up, getting paid to play it. And so good football players are hard to come by. And as long as you show that you're willing and open as a football player, then you're going to find a spot on the field. I mean, this coaching staff is shown, if you can play, you will play. They will find a place for you to play. I mean, you look at John Bullock, right? He was a safety, kind of just a special teams guy. Challenged him to get in the weight room, moved him to linebacker. Now he's a guy they expect to step up this year. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Good pressure. But, look, you come back for a reason, right? You could have very easily been okay with just having a good year. You come back for a reason, bigger purpose. Now you came back with a bigger purpose. Now the expectations on you and bestowed on you are extremely high, and you got to answer them.
Go be a starter.
Yeah, go be a starter. Not only that, be a starter, be a real deal leader. When you're a middle linebacker or a linebacker, you have got to make sure everybody's going. That's your quarterback. So there's a lot of things. It's a selfless position. You got to take care of everybody else, lining them up, communicating, motivating, and then you got to handle your stuff. If you're a middle linebacker and you're selfish, it ain't gonna work out well for you.
How long did it take for you to feel comfortable or more comfortable in that role from when you switched over?
It took a while. In the spring, I didn't think I was still kind of, making that transition. I was playing decent, or did well. But I think once I kind of came to terms with, all right, I'm playing middle linebacker. I was motivated in the offseason because I needed to get bigger and then keep my speed. I I think we played Michigan State. I think by then once I performed in that game, I was like, okay, I wouldn't say I got it, but I was feeling comfortable. I started to see the game differently. I started to play off alignment instead of just do my job. I started to really take how I honed in at the Sam linebacker position and just dive into playing middle linebacker. And so, I probably fought it for a little while, to be honest with you, Austin. I mean, I was, people that know me very well, I was not a happy camper, man. I was not. And it was because I didn't have, there wasn't a lot of communication. There wasn't a lot of honest communication. I'm a very straightforward type of, that's why I like football. You either win or you lose, right? You tell me you got to beat somebody out, I beat them out. I want what I earn. Right? That's how I am, man. Hey, you say you're going to grade it out. Okay, well, then the grade show me this and you telling me something else. Well, then now I can't trust you. Right? Because if you said, hey, no matter what you do, this is going to be the outcome. You know what? I might not like it, but I could deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, you don't have to change how you coach for me. That's just how I am. But I adapted and I dealt with it. But now you're in my crosshairs now. Right? And rang true on that at that point in time. And, but I think, just, back to it, I just think it's the competition, I think, is a great thing. Now, for me as a young player, I felt like that was adversity. It wasn't, losing my grandfather was real adversity. So that kind of actually snapped me into it, which was, I wouldn't say it was a great thing, but it was like, dude, you playing at the University of Nebraska, you won 2 national championships, you should have won 3. And you played 50% of the time or something like that, probably. And you're going to start the next year if you handle your business, because I've been starting for 2 years. What you got to be mad at? My grandfather ain't going to see you another day. You know what I mean? He didn't even get to see me play. So, I mean, once I kind of got that, out of my system and kind of dealt with some other stuff, then I was like, all right, you know what? I'll, bring it on.
Yeah.
So I think if you guys take that type of mentality, nothing. If the whole team is taking that mentality, then you're going to be seeing a team that's going to run to the fight, run to the action, and when things
bring it to other people,
right? And when things get tight, or the bigger the game, the better they play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really where you measure yourself, or we like to, or at least I did. And that's why I like the NFL so much. It was, it's a goal to get there, but I like to compete. I wanted to see how good I was.
Mm-hmm.
And because you get to play. I mean, you got to think I'm out there in the covering the slot, trying to cover Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, Keyshawn. I mean, all them dudes. So putting yourself up there against the best, knowing that if you get caught slipping, you're gonna be on ESPN. Quick. Yeah, man, it's no fun when you're on there. But I think it's a good time. But anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, old school. You know what? Speaking of getting caught on tape on ESPN, we're in the story time this week. So I'm going to tell you, Austin, a little trick that I learned. A little trick that I learned on what to do and what not to do when you get hung out to dry as a defensive player, so you don't get. I'm going to tell you one thing that I did. I had to learn the hard way, and then once I talked to Aaron Glenn, I implemented that. So then we'll do that. Then we'll turn over 5 o'clock hour. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, old school. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians teams at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour, every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Southeast Community College invites you to check out our spaces ahead of your official campus visit. Our virtual campus tours let you see our campuses and learn more about our programs of study. Then you can schedule your individual visit in person or virtually. Virtual tours of our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, and our learning centers are online at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
The Double the Savings sales event is happening now through April 22nd at Bonsall Pool and Spa. During this event, buyers can take advantage of up to $1,500 in savings and receive 0% APR for 60 months. Visit the Bonsall Pool and Spa showroom at 33rd and Pioneers or visit their website at bonsallpool.com to learn more about their hot tub sale. Act fast because this offer ends soon. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, old school here. We're going to turn it over to DP here. I got to hit the highway to flyway. A little story time about protecting your rep, I call it, right? And so I was in Buffalo, and Greg Williams came in, and it's my fourth year. And so that's generally your contract. You know, ideally, you like to think you're getting a contract. So you want to finish the season out strong. My agent, great agent. I want to give a shout out to Blake Barazzi, still an agent. Actually, he was assistant agent then, but he's from my hometown. He's been on the ticket a couple times. And so, you know, we had goals. He said, you know, before the season, you know, we didn't have text message, but he calls it, and I wrote it down. You know, you want to have over 100 tackles. More than, 1.5 sacks, tackle, all those things. So you want to hit your benchmarks, and then they can kind of, kind of see where you're at. Now, it really just depends how many linebackers they need. But so I think I think I had to get over 106 tackles, or maybe 100 tackles. And so I just needed to have, I think to get 100, I needed 3, and then I needed like 9 or something, 10. My goal was 10 tackles. So we playing them, and we were excited for Alex Van Pelt to start. And if you ever seen Alex Van Pelt when he was in the pros, he was not the beacon of. He was not in very good shape, right?
No. Round is a shape.
Yeah, he pulled his hamstring, I think, in warm-ups. So Rob Johnson was on our injured reserve, and it's the last game. They're not going to pick up anybody. I think his name is Jeremy Brown. I think he was from like Utah State or something. just picked up on the practice squad. Well, guess who's starting? Him.
Jeremy Brown.
So we're playing at the Dolphins. Long trip, hot as Hades down there. They had like Brock Marion, Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Tim Bowens, Gardner, Jason Taylor. They were loaded, right? The offense was, but Jay Fiedler. So they had this running back named Lamar Smith. And he was one of those guys. There's always these running backs that you just have trouble with. So you could hit him and he had really good balance and he would like absorb it, bounce back, and then go. And he always seemed like he'd fall forward. Now, I think for me at that point, I think I needed to play with better leverage, but he just always gave me problems, in the league because I played against him, throughout my career in Buffalo. So anyways, first, they run in the rock. I think the first series I'm like, oh cool, I'm at 100. I'm a 1-on-1. I got 4 tackles because they didn't play us. I got 4 tackles. I was like, you know what? I can get a little handy.
We're on pace.
I'm on pace. So the game's over, and I think they might have blanked us. It might have been 35-3. Brock Marion went house call on us, picked it, and went house call. So they're just finishing out the game, running it out. So we used to have this defense that my man Jerry Gray used to call. It's called Spike 40. Essentially, we just blitzing. I start at the stack position, get on the outside, and blitz. Well, they toss it the other way. So I'm like, I got to get on my horse. I got to show good effort on tape. Man, Pat Williams, my man, Big Daddy Pat, he running straight. He's preserving himself. So I cut underneath him, and I was like, I got to get over there. Well, Brandon Spoon missed the tackle. Nate Clemens missed the tackle. Keith Newman got tackled. I'm hauling what over there. And he's going up the sideline. And so I'm running like I'm literally trying to stop a touchdown. And so he stiff arms me, right? So I have to get him in the front. And then what I used to do is call it alligator tackle. I like get you and then kind of drive you into the turf.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I went to get him with the right arm, it didn't right.
Oh.
So he had the stiff arm on me. And then so finally I got it and kind of got him down. And it seemed like it looked like, and it seemed like he had dragged me for it seemed like 50 yards. It had to be 5.
Does time slow down in those moments?
Yes. You're like, oh, bleepity bleep, what I got to do? I got to get him down. You'll trip him, do whatever. I get in the locker room. I had a Nextel phone. I had missed 8 chirps because you could chirp each other and not use your minutes.
Okay.
I had 10 voicemails from my man. What happened? This, and this. I saw that play. You was on ESPN. Pete, man, what's going on? You ain't representing Minneapolis, Pete, right?
They told you weren't representing Minneapolis.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So then fast forward, we're playing in Houston with Aaron Glenn. And I asked Aaron Glenn one time, he got beat. He just ran out the sideways. He's like, oh no, you ain't getting me on tape. So Vic Fangio used to run cover 2. But he'd always he'd make the linebacker essentially play safety. We got to try to stop Eddie George, who's 250 pounds. And then I got to get to the deep middle. And they used to run this Colt route where they'd run hard action this way, towards the boundary, and have Derek Mason run to we call it the pylon because he was just outrunning you. There's 2 safeties back there, and it's a 2-person route. He's
one and one.
Yeah.
2.
But we need 3 to cover it. So I bite hard, center field turn, running. And I'm with Derek Mason at the beginning, probably to the second hash. By the time that hash between when you get to the hash to the number, bye-bye, right? So once I knew the ball was coming because you hear the crowd, I just veered off to the right. You ain't getting me in tape.
Nope.
No way.
We're not doing it.
Yeah,
not
you ain't
today.
getting me in tape because I got caught a couple times against Peyton Manning and Marcus Pollard where they threw the basketball pass, and then Peyton he must have been mad at me since we were running around the Vikings line. He'd always throw it to the tight end, Dallas Clark and stuff like that on me. Maybe I couldn't cover. And then
you're still mad from Tennessee.
You know what? I think that's it.
What else could it possibly
because
be?
he threw it against me on Marcus Pollard. And I must not. I just think I could cover. I can't. I must not. I'm thinking about this. I could cover.
You're a run stopper.
Yeah, no,
You're
but
first
I thought
and second down running.
Austin, I could cover. I thought I could, but Peyton was just. Matter of fact, when I see him, I'm gonna tell him Marcus Pollard, Dilger. Dilger only caught a little out route. Dallas Clark, twice.
Fastest white boy you ever saw.
Twice though.
No.
He hit me on cover 2. He ran Aaron Glenn and Marcus Coleman. I got out the thing that way.
Smart.
And then I was covering Dallas Clark on the 7 cut. He put the airlock brakes. I just kept on going. Peyton, I hate you, man. Anyways, we'll take a break, come back, turn it over to Austin and DP. Jay Foreman, Old School. We out.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone back with the latest update from Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, your new car selection keeps getting better and better every month. Can you tell our listeners all about it?
It sure is, Charlie. It's great that our customers can come in, pick out a new Honda, and drive away with it that day.
How many new Hondas do you have in stock?
Well, right now we have just about 100 in stock.
Hey, I hear you've won some very important awards in your service department. Tell us about them.
Well, the first one is we won the award for the first fixed award. So the cars are actually fixed on the very first time they're brought in. Second award is our Customer Service Experience Award. And then our third award is our Honda Express Service Elite, and we rank the best in quality and customer satisfaction.
Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, April 20th versus the San Diego Mojo at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppel Chevrolet GMC, and our annual spring sales event is now underway. We have absolutely huge savings right now at Coppel. New Sierras and new Silverados have a double whammy. Choose from APR starting at 1.9% or discounts over $9,000. Yes, that's right, 1.9% APR or discounts of over $9,000. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street just south of the interstate, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedar started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage before kickoff on April 27th. Not heading downtown for the spring game? Visit the Highball Bar for daily specials, live music, and much more. Spend your spring game Saturday just north of 11th and O and within walking distance of Memorial Stadium at the Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Back inside the 93.7 The Ticket studios in Lincoln, I'm Austin Norman. You're listening to Old School, brought to you by The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Two Lincoln locations, 3 locations here in Nebraska. The 2 Lincoln locations are 84th and Havelock, as well as 30th and Yankee Hill. And then the Omaha location is 168th and Maple. Every type of meat and every type of cut. Switching things up a little bit here in hour number 2. We were lucky enough to have Coach Matt Rule stop by the studio earlier today. Had a 2-part conversation with the head coach of Nebraska football. We'll play those 2 parts, and then his general manager, Sean Padden, also accompanied him here to the studio. So we'll bring you that conversation. If you want the whole hours, feel free to check those out on theticketfm.com or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. But for now, here is the conversation with head coach Matt Rule from earlier today. DP Farley, AG, Bach all sitting in. Hope you enjoy.
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
3-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown. Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bakoven.
I've talked to a few cats. They said that Bach got some game, man.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Captain Show. This is 93.7 The Ticket. I'm the black shirt Terrell Farley, and I am with Bach. And I have DP in here. And ladies and gentlemen, we might have the best guest the Captain Show has ever had. I don't know if I want to introduce him yet. I just want the crowd to get used to listening to this name, because this guy is growing on me. Every time I meet him, it gets better and better. And this is what I want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the University of Nebraska football team head coach, Matt Rule, is in the building today. How you doing, Coach Rule?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, it's nice to have you on the show, sir. It's my pleasure.
It has been a journey to work this stuff out, right? And I am fully appreciative of Coach Rule. One, you did a thing this week that, as the comedians say, lets me further know that you're the right person in the right place, doing the right thing. Is that you invited some folks into a space to just have conversations. There's no cameras, there's no social media, there was no interviewing, just you and your staff in a room talking to people and letting them get to know you all. And Coach, I have to ask, why? Why was that done?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, look, this is look, we've been working on this for a minute. So
I think, the one thing is when you have a chance to just sit down with somebody, talk, break bread, have a drink, share a conversation. I think what happens is you start to really start to connect on different levels, right? And so, the people that cover us, whether it's radio, TV, media, social media, there's all these different avenues that cover us. I think we want to show appreciation to them, right? I mean, we can't have the impact that we want to have if people aren't covering it. If people aren't interested in what we're doing, then it doesn't matter. We don't have the program that we want. And then secondly, those people work hard. You work hard. Those are the guys that came to that work. And so sitting down and visiting and as you said, turning everything off. And it's kind of the old school way. I played for Coach Paterno, Friday nights before the game, he would do the media. I've made great friends with people over the years who've covered us because, just sitting down and having conversations and getting to know people. And so it just made sense a year in here just to sit down with everybody that covers us and just, sit there and visit, talk about their kids' little league team, talk about, and you know what, the job's a job. Like when people got to criticize us, they have to criticize us. When they have to cover us, they have to cover us. But on a personal level, it doesn't have to be personal. It can just be the job. And so that's why we did it. It was fun.
I mean, I think the big thing in it is that bridge, the bridge between your job and our job. And then if we agree to meet in the middle, one, I'm more respectful of the work that you put in to do the job that you do. And then you have some understanding of who is this person, right? And we become people rather than titles and responsibilities. And I think what you did that day, that afternoon, was one, allow your coaches to become people outside of the normal media rush. And you did a thing in it. You told your coaches not to talk to each other. You needed them talking to the media. Yeah, well, see, coach, here's the thing. That coach and me, we call it comfortable movement, right? Yeah. That if I watch you, how you operate in it, then I can explain to the listeners, to the fans, you know what? Here's something I saw about your boy. Here's your dude. Yeah. Matt Rule is a guy. Coach Rule is a guy who is purposeful in his movement, and not everybody has that. So where does that come from?
Well, I think the difference for me this time around was, I had opportunities just to, maybe just stay home, play some golf. I got fired, I was getting paid. I came here with a purpose. I wanted to re-impact the lives of young people. When you're in the NFL, you're not really doing that. It just wasn't really for me. I wanted to be a part of restoring a national power and have a place in that. But I also wanted to say I impacted coaches. I'm very sad that two places we had the most success, Temple and Baylor, when we left, they did not promote from within. And I think sometimes it's because people see me speak. I think I'm able to articulate kind of what we're doing pretty clearly. And sometimes the administrators think that it's me, but it's not me. I'm just the mouthpiece of it. Maybe I'm the top of it, but I'm not the one doing the work. And so when I came here, I was like, I want to coach with people I love. And I've watched Joey McGuire go to Texas Tech and really have a lot of success who worked for me. I've watched Fran Brown now starting at Syracuse. He's going to have a ton of success. And so in that day, it's also a chance for, I think Evan Cooper is going to be a great head coach. I think Terrence Knight can be a head coach. Rob Dvorak, Tony's going to be a head coach. And so Sat could be a great head coach. I mean, I'm not leaving anyone out. They all could do it. And so they've got to get in those rooms and they've got to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And they've got to learn how to connect with people and some guys walked. I'm wearing a collared shirt today. You'll never catch me wearing a collared shirt. Amon's been in the building. He's gonna see me in t-shirt and shorts. But when they walked into that, I'm like, hey guys, this is a small job interview for you, and it's an opportunity. So where does all that come from? I think I'm at a place in my life where I'm comfortable being me. As I tell the players sometimes, I've been National Coach of the Year, and I've been a meme on Twitter being made fun of, when we were losing. And none of that's really real. In the middle, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I like coaching football, and I like working with young people. And so when I came here, I was just like, I'm gonna do what's right. I don't mean to talk too long. The second part of it though is understanding that your stakeholders aren't just the players. It's the players, it's the university, it's the former players, it's the former coaches, it's the media. And if you can just treat everybody as well as you can possibly treat them while being strong enough to do what you think is right. I can love these guys and have them say, Coach, I think we should be doing this, and be like, no, and not get offended by it. I hear what you're saying, and still do what I think is right. What you don't want is a weak head coach. And you also don't want a head coach who's afraid to talk to people. So I can sit there with the media. I can sit there with you guys and listen. And sometimes people say stuff to me and I'm like, damn, that's deep. Let me go rethink what I'm saying. So it might be Coach Osborne drawing up plays for me. That might be somebody telling me, hey, this is how we did things. But I'm always, trying to learn and understand that, hey, these people are all important to Nebraska. And
this is why I know, being in the same space with you, one, you start to identify what people are really about. Like you get to look beyond titles and you just go, here's this thing. But my connection to Carolina, I'm tracking you the whole time anyway. And the folks there were like, okay, here's what you got. Here's what you got. And there are folks in DC that track with Matt Rule, and they, wait a minute, man, you got one. Like you've got equipment managers and trainers, former trainers, who are shouting, yes to Matt Rule, which means a lot for the people behind the scenes. Next to me and next to you on the other side are two Husker greats. Great. I mean, in any discussion, these are two of the best at their position at the University of Nebraska ever. What is your thinking? What is your want for your relationships with them? Because Amon and Farley, first of all, elite Huskers, but these are two of the best human beings that can possibly represent a university. What do you want for them?
I think the first thing is I want them to, when they watch the games on Saturdays, that they're proud of the way we play. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but you find out a lot about a team sometimes when they lose. Like you find out a lot about a team when they lose, they come back the next week. Like, it's one thing to come and you're the most dominant team. I get it. Well, then how do you play early in the game? You know what I'm saying? Like just how do we play? Are we physical? How do we then it's how do we practice? And that's how do our players act? And that's how do we treat the players? And then it's how do we treat them? And so, for me, there's always I have to protect a lot of things, right? I have to protect the players. The things that I don't want is I don't want people coming to practice and then leaving and saying, hey, this player played well, this player's not playing well, because it's not the player that played well, it's the player that's not playing well. They hear all that. Like I wish they didn't hear it all, but they hear it all. Yeah. And when we were playing, there wasn't a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of internet, social media at the level it is now. It's like our kids now, like when I was playing, if you made a mistake, you're like, oh, Coach McBride's gonna rip you in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Only
now,
in the film room.
Now they come in at halftime. They want to know where their phone is. They want to see, like, they drop the pass. They want to see if they're trending.
Is that so? That's really a thing.
It is. That's 100% real. And so it's just they can't be free to play because they're so anxious. Like last year, there were two Husker teams. There was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and there was on the field on Saturday. And that's the job is to get the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday team to start showing up on Saturday, and we'll get there. But that's why, that's why I will say, like, hey, don't come to practice, and but I've opened it up to the players no matter what. Even if I know that so and so might get on the radio and say, hey, I saw him and he's not very. At the end of the day, if you bled for the team, you bled for the team. And I think trying to invite those guys back reconnects them to this. Because when I got here, a lot of the players were kind of like, you know what, the Huskers of the 90s and 2000s and 80s, they were so great. We're tired of hearing about it, Coach. And my point is, no, you can't get tired of hearing about it. But what you have to do is set your own course. You have to listen to it and not feel like a failure. Feel like, you know what, I'm a part of a great lineage of football. But there's also going to be many people who come after me. And right now it's about, what do I do when I'm wearing that number? What do I do when I'm wearing that jersey? How am I leaving it? These guys, they left it great for the ones that are here now. I've got, and you know what, maybe we can be a part of going from, 4-8, 3-9, 5-7 to getting back to being a contender. Now you'll have done something so special, but you have to embrace the negativity or the paranoia you feel on the inside and overcome it.
I'm on. Look, man, you deserve time with this gentleman.
Yeah. But you didn't pose the question, but you kind of put it out there about how you're watching your teams. There's two teams. That comment you just made there. You got Tuesday, Wednesday team, and then you got a Saturday team. And that was something where you and your coaches, when I went to spring ball last year, and I was hearing coaches yelling, coach speak, or just saying things, but it was the stuff as a player that I want to hear, because then it's motivating, it's correcting, and then the players are reacting properly to it. And for a guy that's didn't run all the way to the line to get off the field when there's a change of play and it's a substitution, and they start walking when they get to the numbers, and they're like, "What are you doing?" We're all the way to seeing that type of stuff as a player, former player. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear. And that was the part of me that told me, Matt, his coaches, they're doing it the right way, because it's the foundation that was dismantled, destroyed here, culture-wise, that now has to get reconstructed brand new. And so right now, just I'm going to say from me to you, you're on that path, because hearing what I heard at those practices, I think I went to about 5 or 6 of them. And then this year too, little night and day difference between the personalities out there, the rotation, because back and forth, you're in and out, different drills and how you're running them. And I love the fact that you did the little competition, the teams, the Rattlesnake Boys and all that. If y'all been watching this on social media, and I'm looking at it like he's sneakily teaching these kids how to be GMs, how to be sports directors, how to manage a squad, how to, can we scout other players from another team we could trade for them? Like he's sneakily doing that. I don't know if these players realize he's giving them kind of a easy way in, or just I say a backdoor way into understanding how the NFL works, and now really college football, because we have transfer portal and NIL. So just seeing those little tidbits that you're saying, and you're definitely, I definitely agree with you on how you saying you work with young adults, because right there, that's something that most young kids won't get. College age, high school kid coming in, it's like, man, I saw this. I'm looking on my Instagram at the video. I mean, you have it broken down where you have a anchor from the J school. I know the kid who does the talk, and I'm like, oh, and then he breaks down the teams, and I'm like, that's just being a GM, but they having fun. I could tell they're having fun. Castagnata, he's one of the coaches, or he's one of the GMs, and he's talking, he's breaking. Well, this guy, he's like getting all into it. And I'm like, he don't realize this is information that is could use later. He could use for himself once he gets to the NFL level, that he can understand that whole process, how GMs, the head coaches, becomes a business then at the next level. So you're giving them nuggets right now, gold nuggets, which hopefully they use and realize later on, like, oh, this was sweet. I did this in college with Coach when he was during our spring ball, so and so. So just doing that stuff for me, I'm like, they know what they're doing. So keep it going. Give me right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big thing, like you talked about, like, guys running off the field and all that. Like last week, the scrimmage, the Tommy Hills, the Ty Robinsons, the Bryce, the guys who played a lot of football. I didn't scrimmage them. That's an old Coach Paterno thing. I have them practicing but not scrimmaging. But I had them stand out next to me, and I was like, just wanted to hear. And all of a sudden, you start hearing Nash and Ty and 3 techniques lined up wrong, and they're screaming for them to get lined up, and then and so some of our guys, they early on you start to panic about that. And I tell them all the time, like, listen, this is how I was raised, right? In football and in my family, love to me is correction. Love to me is being told when I do something right and when I do something wrong, and having no agenda behind it. And so as we get more comfortable getting corrected, what we realize is someone cares enough about us to tell us, hey, this isn't good enough, do it again or do it differently. And when it starts coming from the players, now that was way different 20 years ago, 10 years ago than it is now. It's way harder to get that. The spring league has gotten that, where all of a sudden now guys are like, well, I'm in charge. I told Deshaun Singleton the other day, I said, the rumor mill is starting to pop up on Pro Football Talk. You might be out as the GM, bro. Like, you're not producing, but also having those guys out there and, hey, this is how we play. This is how we run the ball. This is how we run off the field. When it starts coming from the players, that's when, like, really my work is done. Mm-hmm. And my work now comes into, hey, situational football. Like, you can't worry about, you have to do some of it, but you can't be a lead at coaching third down and coaching 2-minute, coaching the situations if your foundation of playing hard and accountability isn't at a high level. So I feel like in year one, while it was 5 and 7, we got a lot of that done. And now we're taking another step so that hopefully, as the players get better, as they get more confident, as their personality starts to show, as the swagger in their play starts to show, then all of a sudden they'll still have that foundation of, yeah, I can do all of this, but I better play hard and I better line up. And if I don't do it right, I'm gonna hear about it from my teammates, and it's not personal. And I literally have to do, like, you can probably tell this, I'm not a guy that loves to work out. I go in there every day when the players are walking through. Now I have our strength coach put us through a workout. Yeah. And if they tell me to get 12, because they stop, make fun of me. If I get 11, I get up. I'm like, I'm a punk. I'm so and they hear me talking to myself, and I'm like, guys, this is greatness. Like when you don't do it, it shouldn't break you. It shouldn't make you all sad. You got to go talk to your parents, and it should make you like just do it so angry to get back out there and do it again the next day. And that's that we're trying to raise warriors. We're not just trying to win football games. We teach a bunch of young men how to be warriors in the home and on the football field, in school, and in life. Then that's how the program gets restored.
I want to, for folks that are just joining and you just got in the car or you just got into your office and you think you're hallucinating. So let's reset and understand that here on the ticket, we have Nebraska football head coach Matt Rule, and we thank him for giving us time today. And I don't want to be abusive of the time because I know that you have other things to do. You've got an agenda that has to be met. And before I give you over to Farley, the black shirt needs to get in the game, and I need to do that. But I want to ask you about maybe the most important person to the program that isn't talked about often, your wife. Your wife, because she holds it together. Like you can't do I can't do the station thing without my wife, and I can't imagine how much burden and load she carries. So here's an opportunity, Coach. Let's put your wife in the game and tell the story of this fantastic woman.
She's the best. Like, this is a girl, like when I met her at Penn State, and people be like, "Oh, what's your boyfriend play?" She's like, another team has the ball. Like he kind of stands behind and runs the ball. And now she's like, are we going to blitz? Like, I mean, are we going to take some shot? Like she is. So, I mean, she's a gangster. Like she's in our house, she's the alpha. And, but what I love about Julie is like, you go on a road trip and go up in the stands and you go see Julie sitting there, listening to Colorado fans cussing at her and all that. She's going to be right there with my two daughters. Lose the game, win a game, there ain't no crying. We're sitting there in Carolina. You got 50,000 people chanting to fire me. She's gonna sit there with my kids, proud to be my wife. Proud. You don't ever be embarrassed of your last name. Your daddy's working hard. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, it does. She loves the players. Every Thursday night has a different group over. We have a little loft down here. In recruiting, has all the parents. Loves the parents. Thursday nights we do family dinner. We invite everyone's girlfriends. So she brings a separate side to me, so as the players, as they're playing for me and trying to figure out who is this guy, they see I have a 19-year-old son, see I have two young daughters, but my wife brings a part of me that's way different, and she makes the program better. She makes recruiting better. She makes the staff better. So she's been amazing. She came here and, was moving her father here, and unfortunately her father passed away, while I was here recruiting and she was back home in Charlotte. Her father passed away, and she was like, this is the last stop, man. Like, she said, you better win. She's like, you better win because I'm not doing this again. Like, it's one thing moving a son around, but these two daughters of ours now, they're 11 and 8. Little girls don't need to move up, moving all across the country. So she picked this job. And, she's opening up a business right now. So now it's funny now she's like, instead of calling me like, oh, you too worried about third down to call me? Now I call her. I can't get her on the phone. She's like, she texts me back like, I'll hit you back later. I'm like, what's this? But now Julie, she's special. And what she'll do, she'll take that hustling mindset that we have, that recruiting mindset that we have, that customer service, putting other people first, and she'll put it into her dry bar salon, and she'll try to make the experience for women that much better. But she also wants our daughters to grow up seeing their mom working. And she's not just opening a business and like letting someone else run it, put some money into it. Like she's in there grinding every day because she wants our daughters to see like your father works hard, we work hard, I work hard, and we expect our kids to work hard too.
Farley, we'll get you a question here, and then we'll take a break because I do want to give him the opportunity to get out, whether he wants to it, whether he has to or not.
Well, one thing I do love about Coach Rule is that he says he cares about his kids. And that's one thing we learned from Coach Osborne is that when a coach cares for you, you play harder for that coach. And, Coach, I'm just happy that you put these kids first because a lot of coaches out here that don't do that. They make a promise to these kids and they don't turn around and be the same person. Now, with you're the same person, and it makes these kids play better knowing that they got to play for you, and they play harder and smarter when they know somebody care for them, because Coach Osborne cared for all of us. I can't say the same about Coach McBride because he can look at you and scare you. But, just hearing that brings so much back to me that how hard I would play for this coach, that he cared for me so much.
But I think sometimes we think about coaches and players, going back to the beginning, like media and coaches, I just prefer to think of it as people. And, when I got to Carolina, going from college to the NFL was really hard. It's hard because the NFL players look at you like, oh, he's a college coach. How's this going to be? But then COVID hit and you're never around anybody. Every meeting's on Zoom. And it's like you wake up one day and you don't have a connection with anybody. And the other guys are going to do their job, And the last year I ended up getting fired. It was one of the best years for me in coaching because COVID was lifted. And every Friday I go play golf with, three guys. I invite, it might be McCaffrey, it might be Shaq Thompson, it might be, and we have dinners and Brian Burns, and I started to like have personal real life connections. Cause as I tell our team all the time, everyone is not like we might look at you guys. Oh, okay. Husker legend, all the things you've accomplished. At the end of the day, like we all wake up in the morning, we got something on our mind. We got something stressing us out. We got some sort of struggle we're going through, and seeing people as people. And so as I was going down the path of unfortunately getting fired and all the things that were going wrong, It was Christian McCaffrey with 50,000 people chanting to fire me, coming over and putting his arm around me in front of everybody. It was Derek Brown. It was all these guys having my back. And I was like, no matter who it is, at what level, it always comes down to connection. It always comes down to people. And what, I mean, it's my 11th year being a head coach. I've had to do the eulogy at my players' funerals. I've had to make that call. I've had to be there when guys have gone to jail. I've gotten a chance to be there when guys get married. And you know what? Like once you've played for you play for even the guys who transferred, the guys who quit. I've told them all, I love you no matter what. Like you have to go on your journey. I'm always here if you need me. And so that's a perspective. Like year 1, year 2, year 3 at Temple, I might not have had, but I have it now. And that doesn't mean that we're not coaching hard. That doesn't mean we're letting you do whatever you want. Love to me is not doing whatever you want. Like my kids don't get to come home with these. Like my kids don't get to come home treating people poorly. But talking about my kids at home. But our players, the one thing about being in Nebraska, this is as fine a group of young people. I think Tony said it at his press conference. Like they're fun to coach. Like if we put the Rattlesnake Boys name on it, they'll play for 2 hours without even. If I say it's 907, they might look at me like I'm nuts. So if I say 907 Rattlesnake Boy competition, they're out there flying around. But no, I appreciate you saying that because that's all it is. It's just people, right? People taking care of people.
100%.
Coach, I need to do this one again to thank you publicly because you didn't have to do what you're doing. And you didn't have to choose Nebraska. You don't have to go through all the stuff that you're going through in order to make this what you think it deserves, which is the real thing. I'll ask you a question, and in full transparency, I said you have permission to tell me the truth. Is there a possibility you could take a break and come back with us for 15 minutes?
Yeah, the only thing I have, guys, here's my day today, right? Let me tell you my day. And I want someone to talk to Vershawn about I came here, he went.
No. You understand that both of our phones are going to blow up the moment he finds out you were here.
I have 11:30 with Abdul Muhammad, and I have 7:00 tonight with Eric Crouch. So like, you talking about legends?
And Abdul, and I'm calling Abdul to ask for his 30 minutes. So as soon as it's done, we will go to break. When we come back, head coach Matt Rule, and he brought some guests with him. We're going to put them on too because they have information that is vital to this football program, this community. DP, Black Shirt, AG, head coach Matt Rule, Bach. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 23rd is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, buy one, get one 50% off on Montova grilled artichokes. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up.
Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska's always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and Air Park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries. Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Lincoln, you wanted more sweet and spice in your life, and now you've got it. At Wings and Rings, their brand new Hot Honey has all of Lincoln buzzing. Try their one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand new Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich or their Hot Honey Shrimp and Slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional, boneless, or smoked wings that have made Wings and Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. Hot Honey was supposed to be gone on April 1st, but they're extending it indefinitely. So stop by Wings and Rings at one of their 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
When you're in New York, Nick, in New York, I mean, you're talking about, you see mafioso types. You go into a restaurant and you would literally eat. Hey, come on over here. You know, they I don't know how to say it. I don't got the accent, but they would say, come, Strick, come here, come over. Have a drink on me. And what are you going to do? Say no?
You not say
you
no
don't
to that?
say no to the drink. You don't say no.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back to the Captain Show. This is 93.7 with a special guest, Coach Matt Rule. We're here on 1040 O Street, the Mill Coffee House. Bach, I'm going to let you take it over right now, Bach.
All right, like you said, Matt Rule in studio with us here. And I guess just the question that I have is kind of thinking in totality with the change of everything that's going on. Of course, some absolute legends walking away from the game with Saban, of course, retiring, Harbaugh going to the NFL. I just kind of constantly think about the changing and adapting to the college football world, and nobody really knows what it's going to look like in 10 years. But we do know there's going to be coaches in 10 years, and you've got some, younger coaches on staff. So what is it to you? I mean, that I kind of just think like you have to bend to kind of what's going on day to day. I mean, we're seeing laws passed in Virginia. I mean, things are changing constantly. So what is it about you? And there's going to be some people that say the old guard, they're not going to want to stay in coaching. So what is it about you that you think is going to work moving forward that allows you to bend, that allows you to adapt to an ever-changing college football world?
Well, the only ones getting out of coaching are the ones who've made enough money that they don't need to coach.
Yeah.
So let's not act like people are quitting to go.
See, that's the clip that we need because I need that set.
No, I mean, I think the big thing is you have to always have an eye towards the future because, when there's fundamental changes, when there's chaos, the people that are the most prepared for are the ones who can make the jump, right? Like, they're the ones who can, hey, it might level the playing field. Now it's our opportunity now to go ahead and get on top of college football. At the same time, you can't sacrifice today for 2 years from now. And so sometimes even like, with NIL, sometimes people talk about, hey, it's going to be in-house soon. We're going to be this. Like, just tell me what the rules are today and stop complaining about like the rules are what the rules are. And so, you know what, like That's like as clear a message I can talk about. So every single day, what are we doing? How are we doing it? Is it the best way to do it? And try to always look for a better way to do everything. And so, sometimes when young people come to work for me, they're like, they struggle because they're like, man, he's like, coach is always saying like, why we do this? Should we do this differently? But I do that about everything. I do that about myself. I do that like, because every day you have to wake up and say, is this right? The thing changes in Virginia. Like, okay, well, hey, how does this affect us? What are our rules? And just constantly, and then push. You have to be willing to push. Like in today's college football, programs will only go as far as the people within the university, and whether it's the coach, the athletic director, or the administration, as far as they'll let them. Right? Some people are going to struggle at some point. Like sitting in a class and the professor's making this, and the basketball player, volleyball player, football player is making this. Well, none of it's right. What coaches' salaries aren't right. Like in terms of like our teachers should make the most money in our society, but it's not the way it is. And so it's very simply, what does Nebraska football have, and how does that compare to Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon? What does Nebraska volleyball have? How does that compare to those same schools? Just hey, where do we compare? What are our things that we have? What are things we don't have? And just I think you need a coach who's just relentless, and that's. Hopefully I'm teaching those young coaches. So when Garrett McGuire is a head coach, he's in there and he's relentlessly fighting for every edge, every single edge to get their program one step better and a little bit better than the next opponent.
Coach, it's you're in that stretch of transitioning, right? You're adjusting, you're adapting. In-game management for you exists in the off season, trying to figure out not only what other folks are doing, your competitors and your business partners in the Big Ten, but making sure that the focus remains on Nebraska, right? You can get caught peeking over the fence at Ohio State and Michigan, and it will distract you. How do you maintain the focus? Because you have to be able to tell the boosters, the fan base, the NIL folks, all what it is that you need and want. So I'll ask, how do you make that decision? And what is the thing? Like, you've got listeners, you've got Husker Nation listening right now. This NIL thing is going to change everything, has changed everything. What is it that's going to help you make Nebraska as great as it can be?
NIL.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Like if we have great players and we retain great players. No, I didn't say great recruits. Let me say this now. I didn't say great recruits.
That part.
People get confused sometimes with great players and great recruits.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a kid is a highly rated recruit because he was 6'3", 215 in 10th grade. Everyone he's killed, but he's never. We look at what they're gonna be, right? So to me, just all you have to do to know where Nebraska football is in 2, 3, 4 is look at how many guys get drafted every year. When you have a bunch of guys getting drafted and guys get drafted high, you probably had a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And so if we have good players and we can retain our players, and so I'm not even talking as much about going in the portal and taking people from other people. I'm talking about like you get someone here, you train them, you coach them. How do you handle it when they walk into you like, hey, coach, I love it here. I love you and you've done so much for me. But, so-and-so down the street just offered me $400,000. Like people like, oh, well, what would happen if you're running a dentist's office if someone got offered a 3 times raise? Would they leave you or would they stay with you? Working here, if someone's hey, I just got offered 4 times what I'm making here, 5 times, 8 times, 10 times. So it's simple economics, right? So to me, sometimes people will say, I don't believe in NIL. I said, there's no believing. It's real. You might not agree with it, okay? But it is here to stay. So everyone has to make a decision. Do we want Nebraska to be at the pinnacle? And I'm really simple. If you want us to be number 1 in the league, or let's say number 1 through 3, then the coach's salary should be 1 through 3. The recruiting budget should be 1 through 3. The training table should be 1. Everything you should say, hey, it's 1 through 3. And if you give me everything, it's the first, second, or third best in the Big Ten from NIL on up, and I don't get it done, I will walk my butt out of there. But don't give coaches 8th place NIL and 8th place coaching staff salaries, and then say, well, how come you're not first, right? And that might be different. It might be 20 years ago it was, hey, who could take a prop, who couldn't take a prop, 30 years ago, who could take a prop, who couldn't take a prop, who could. Now it changes over time, but it's always who has the benefits, and that's real simple to me. It just comes down to what do we have. I'm always going to go with players first. So if I tell you that I'm in it for the players, then I also believe we win because of the players, and so we need great players.
I think that's fascinating, and again, these folks that have been on air with me, they've heard me just yell these things to the top of my lungs. I need to ask you away from that. So you brought some folks with you today. And when you're off air, I'm going to put them to work too, because there's no way I'm going to have that talent in the building and not put them to work. Who are the folks that came with you today, Coach?
Well, Sean Patton is our general manager, so he oversees the spring league.
Yeah.
Every spring league thing is his idea.
Yeah.
But he oversees all of our personnel side from organizational hierarchical structure, he organizing it where from the ground level all the way up through Keith Williams, Vince Kent to Ryan Callahan. That we're doing everything at the high level. Oversees our relationship with the NIL, the 1890 Collective, who's been amazing to us. The Pete family, those guys have been amazing to us. But just making sure that we're on the cutting edge, working within our athletic department of, hey, so he's the one studying lawsuits and saying this is coming down the pike. And so really just being a conduit to, hey, we want to be the best. So to be the best, I hired the best and put him in charge of it. I have Kiera Mayo here, who's my executive assistant. I think I told you the other day, I couldn't have hired a better person in the building because the players love her, the families love her, my family loves her. My 8-year-old texts her every Saturday morning, hey, she's just a people person. And so when you have someone like that around me, it keeps me organized, but also humanizes me to everybody else within the department. College athlete, or was a former athlete, but has worked from the equipment room all the way up to the areas that she's in, and she's a rock star. And then Jarrett with Sean. Jarrett's, I have a bunch of former players who played for me. So guys, everyone, Terrence Knight and all these guys, but Jarrett played for me 20-some years ago at Western Carolina University. He was a 300-pound offensive lineman. He's now 180 pounds. Spent several years in the police force and then the ATF. He's, got tired of getting shot at.
Hey,
and came to me.
Facts.
So he's the guy that just fixes things with the players. In terms of coach, hey, I got study hall at this time. They come to him. They instead of coming to me, they can go to him as well. Manages all the football stuff. Manages the coaches. Manages so. Like my right hand team, you throw Dr. Elza in there, and to me, you want great coaches, but the players spend a ton of time with the people they interact with. So whether it's Sean on the NIL front, whether it's Kiera in terms of just making sure everyone, them and their families are doing well, whether it's Jarrett just helping them with all the things that they need. We have a great group of people.
Do you care if Kara, just randomly spends 15 minutes a week down here telling us the secrets of Matt Rule?
Oh, no. She knows too much. She knows way too much now.
That was the thing I noticed is that she's got the keys to the castle.
It's so funny. Like we're going to the basketball game in Memphis, and she's like, "Hey, coach, please wear something that matches. You're going to be on TV." So she's like, "Send me a picture. Please send me a picture."
You just told everybody that Kara's a black woman. So you literally, you're going to be on TV so dressed like.
She's like
one of my daughters.
She's like, "Send me your shoes." I sent a picture. So I got between because my wife is elegant, well dressed at all times. Like we were at Baylor, the local steakhouse. My wife would show up wearing like she said, "Hey, we'll meet for dinner tonight." I meet at the steakhouse. I walk in sweatpants, sweatshirt, and I'm like, "They know I'm coaching. If they want us to go to the Sugar Bowl, then they can let me show it."
Yeah.
So between Kiera and Julie, it's like bang bang on both sides, man. Hey, make sure you wear the right thing.
Sounds familiar here.
It's spectacular in all of this, right? That. Apart from me and this station, it was built on the belief that Nebraska was going to get it right in the most important program in the entire state. And to build a place where those conversations could be had, a third place, a meeting place for Husker fans to come in and talk about what they love and why they love it. What was missing was somebody to lead the way and somebody to direct this thing and make it worthy of having 18 hours a day of live radio, sports radio to talk about it. And there's a pride that's happening. And I just wanted you to be in the room so you understood that this space that we have, it's yours. Use it for whatever good you can find in it, because I trust that you are going to do everything possible, everything in your power, to make this worthy.
You should do a segment every Monday where I come over here and you say, like, "What did you think of the officiating in the last game?"
And
then it's like just put like a bleeping button.
No, we got the dump button. It's over there. It gives a 7-second delay.
Coach, talk about this replay call.
Well, there's a way to do that without getting you in trouble. Like, there's a way. Because then we got to raise money for the fine that goes along with it.
It's funny. I got asked to speak at the Fiesta Bowl, and then when we talk about the college football playoff, and I said, the great thing is, it's my 4th program. I've been hired, I've been fired. I care very much what the people that matter to me think, but I'm going to say what I think. And I'm going to say it. I'm never going to say it in a way that hurts anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody, but like, if you ask me what I think about NIL, I'm going to tell you, like, well, there were a lot of coaches mad at me when I said transfer portal quarterback costs, $1 million minimum, but that's the facts. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm at a place now where I'm like, I'm going to be respectful, but I'm going to say what needs to be said. Why? Because what good comes out of keeping secrets and holding things, tight to the vest. Now, at the same time, my job is to coach football and not to be, a pundit. So, I'm not going to go out there if I'm not asked, but in the right moments, like, I'm going to say what needs to be said. And so if I get fined for it, if I get in trouble for it, so be it. But
we have sponsors lining up as we speak to sponsor that Monday segment.
But you know what? I'm sorry, I'm talking too much there.
No, you are.
Here's what I don't want. I don't want the schedule to come out and us be complaining about, man, we got, we got this, we got that. Like, like this year, we faced 3 teams who have a bye week before they play us. There's a part of me when I see it, I'm like, that's not. And I say, man, shut up. Like, we need to get back to the day where people are like, they gave us Nebraska. Why did we get Nebraska? Not where we're saying, oh my gosh, we got so and so. Like, it's supposed to be. So we should just worry about us and making sure we're the team that people are like, oh, we better not have Nebraska this year, and we better not have it late in the year. Oh, please don't let it be
kickoff weekend.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
So like make us something special. That's what I have to. That's what you said earlier. I can't worry about anybody else. I have to worry. I can't worry any of the teams what they're doing. Sean has to do that, in the NIL world,
right?
And Jay Terry has to do it in the equipment world, and Corey has to do it. But I have to just make sure that we are back to being, hey, we are the front runners. We're going to do what we think is great, and we have to have some guts. I think the one thing that's happened is that because of the success, from what I've seen since I've been here, people are so afraid to try to do something different because they don't want to offend anybody, and that's why, like, honestly, I say, like, come on, you have a problem if I do this? And usually the guys, the former players, are like, no. As long as we win.
Hey, you building?
Give me the W.
That's right.
You're building pro.
Here's what we're doing. We're gonna throw it to break, get the station ID in. We'll do 4 segments in the second hour. But Coach, we're gonna go take some pictures.
Oh, gracious.
Do some videos. Have you smile at us a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull Sean in here, and we're gonna have that NIL discussion that hasn't been had in full because I know the people who are listening write checks. So, Coach Matt Rule here on the Captain Show on 937 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon reminding you to vote for my friend and colleague Carolyn Bozin. Carolyn Bozin is a strong voice for Lincoln who we need representing us in the legislature. Carolyn Bozin voted for historic funding for education to support our schools and for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Carolyn Bozin is the voice we need representing us in the legislature. This is Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon. Join me in supporting Carolyn Bozin for legislature on May 14th.
Paid for by Bozin for legislature.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Old School with DP and J.
Nebraska and their staff, football-wise, has done a really good job of, keeping guys
happy, and then obviously they see the opportunity here. Whereas I don't think there's a general reason that you can say, okay, this is why kids are going in the portal. Now we're seeing, even when they're in really good situations for them, they still leave.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and actively involved in our community. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Property tax relief is important to every family, and I will continue to deliver more property tax relief to working families. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 23rd is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, buy one, get one 50% off on Montova grilled artichokes. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman